Welcome to Rain City Supercars. I'm Nick.
I'm Dan.
And we are in my living room. Well, what will be my living room for about another 2 days.
Yeah, that's fun.
I have to, long story short, there's leaks in my lovely neighbors below, which I don't blame them, and they can't seem to find them, so they are moving us apartments, which I don't want to do, but I'll stay in the same building, but it's like so much drama. So,
what a pain.
Yeah. Oh, gosh, yeah. I mean, it's a health and safety thing, so, I mean, I get that. I won't go too deep into it, but I'm not happy. So, yeah. But, yeah.
We are sitting in Nick's living room, but we're still brought to you by Avance, Carter Automotive Group, Griot's Garage, Haggerty, Salvo Design, and York Real Estate. Our brains are mush.
Oh, God. If things we don't understand us. Dan and I both did a leadership arm this weekend or finished one up, and I'm dead. I mean, we did 12 hours Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We did another 3 hours last night, which would have been Tuesday. And, I mean, I learned immense amounts. I think I did. I don't know. It'll all hit me in a few days. But
yeah. I learned more in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So. As I think.
As I read all my notes and go, what was I writing there? So Dan and I were sitting here, and we've got some, the next 3 weeks, we've got some wonderful, fun guests.
Yeah, we're packed with guests here.
Packed guests. And Dan and I were kind of talking, and this is sort of, everybody asks us, how do you guys come up with this stuff? And today's topic, what we're going to talk about, is towing, is, the language behind it, all the acronyms, things like that. And I want to be clear with this. Dan and I know enough to be dangerous. I learned 10 times more from watching a video. But I was driving here today, driving back home, and there was a guy on the freeway that had the weight. And we've all seen the photos or the little like treadmills with the car, and they show you like where you move the weight on the trailer, and then the trailer whips around. This guy had the weight way too far forward and was going to cause an accident. I don't know if he did. I hope he didn't. And I instantly texted Dan. I was like, I got an idea for an episode. So we're going to talk about towing, but first we want to talk about our Carter Subaru tip of the week.
Yep.
Carter Motors.
Carter Motors, right.
Yes.
So it's cold.
Yes, it is.
It's really, really cold. And if you're like me, you're still building your shop or you're working in a not fully insulated garage and you need to heat it up. Well, those little 1,500-watt ceramic heaters, which are the most you can put on a 110-volt outlet, is 1,500 watts. If anything more than that, you'd be 240.
Yeah.
So, but most people don't have that option. They don't have 240 wired heaters ready to go in their garage. So they go either with one of these little tiny ceramic heaters and they close the garage as much as they can, or
and that's where they find them.
Well, the little ceramic electric ones are fine. You're not gonna die with one of those on. They're far safer. But if you're in a hurry, or you're working in an outdoor space, or you have a very large space to heat up, you would probably go with a natural gas heater or propane heater. Propane heaters are super popular. We use them all the time at our events. And yes, I use mine in the garage all the time. And before everybody thinks that guy's an idiot and he's going to die, it's because I vent my garage when I do it.
Well, I mean, the first phrase is not true, but yeah. We're still here, so we must not be that bad. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just wanted to give a little heads up on using a propane heater, because if nobody's ever told you this, you haven't looked it up. It's not uncommon to not know this. Propane heaters obviously burn propane, but they also burn oxygen, and you can't smell it. And it just burns all the oxygen out of the garage, and it's a good way to die in your garage. And so, as I've seen people do this, and I've encouraged many people to buy the Mr. Heater propane heater because it's a fantastic heater.
Is it Mr. Heater?
Yeah,
it is Mr. Heater. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Many different models, and like I said, it instantly heats up my shop and my garage, even in a very big space. But you have to vent that space.
The only downside we've ever found is that because when propane comes out of the bottle, it super freezes the bottle, and it will literally freeze to the ground if you're not careful.
Yeah, if it's outside, it'll freeze directly to the dirt. So we always have to put it on something or raise it up.
Yeah.
So that said, if you're in a smaller garage space, get an electric heater. If you're in a large shop, a propane heater is great. Just make sure you vent it properly, and which should go without saying. But every year in the news, we see somebody who did it. I mean, times get tough. People don't have a lot of options sometimes, or they think, oh, it's fine. I can't smell anything. I don't smell the gas. It's not that bad in here. Yeah, it's burning all the oxygen out, and you're going to fall asleep in your garage.
Look at all the birdies.
Yeah, which is tragic. Most people, sadly, just fall asleep. They're working under their car, and next thing you know it, they are sitting on that creeper forever. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, we don't want you to do that, and we've seen the stories going around, especially...
Would that be the Grim Creeper?
The Grim Creeper.
Oh, okay,
Ooh,
just checking.
That's a good one.
That's a dad joke, and I'm not even...
Such a dad joke. It's a good one, though.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Okay,
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, that's your Carter Subaru tip of the week. If you're going to heat your garage in a tiny space, get a little tiny heater, a little 1,500 watt.
It works. I mean, that place you had in Kirkland, and it was a bigger garage, and we turned that heater on, and it would heat it in there in no time. Like
5-10 minutes. The whole thing's heated. You just pop the
You're
window,
sweating.
pop the side door, about 8 to 12 inches of the door,
Yeah.
and then you just turn it off and close the door.
So
and,
nice.
Yeah, it'll heat it up to like 90 in there.
Yeah, big time.
But yeah, you said earlier, you were correct. We were talking about towing.
Towing.
Towing is what we're talking about.
And we're not going to get into the deep stuff as far as like huge trailers and things like that, and goosenecks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
We're talking about, probably 10 to 13, maybe 20-foot trailers that are, people are hauling bikes and things like that. And, and it's not just about towing. We're gonna get into a little bit too. We're gonna do our best to come through with these acronyms and be clear as we're talking about this. But this is when you're looking at towing, the one thing you need to think about is not just the weight of the things you're towing, the trailer you're towing. You also need to think about the people in your car, the gas in your car, and the people's stuff in your car, which is something I did not think about until we started looking at this today. And you see it because people will be going down the highway. They got a big Dodge truck. They're towing a trailer with side-by-sides, and it's hurting, and you're going, well, what's going on there? Well, they got motorcycles in the back of the truck, which they didn't count for. They got 5 people in the truck. They've got all the luggage. So
another time you want to really think about this is with boats.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to overload yourself with a boat, especially because you're typically taking a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you've got a 20-plus foot boat, that's going to be 4,000 pounds, and a lot of people undersize. I mean, your brakes are one thing, but you had 5 people in there.
It's what gets people with boats is when they're trying to pull boats out of the water.
Yes, that's
boat
entertaining.
ramps, and how many cars that go underwater. So, yeah.
All right, so let's go through these acronyms. We've got a great little list for you that explains exactly what they mean and how you can think about them. So do you want to start with the first one?
So the very first one is Gvwr, which is going to be gross vehicle weight rating. This is the maximum loaded weight of a vehicle. So basically this is if you had fuel in the car, all fuels, people in the car, all the stuff that I was talking about, and you've got a trailer behind you and what's on the trailer. This would be the number that would add up to everything. So if I let's say I had 5,000 pound, gross vehicle weight, which is low, that means that the truck, I have to take in the weight of the truck. I have to take in the weight of the people. I have to take in the weight of my trailer. I have to take in the weight of, not the trailer, but the, no, it's because you're towing the trailer weight, aren't you?
That's the gross combined weight rating.
Okay. So see, I already screwed this up. So
gross vehicle weight is the vehicle, the passengers, and the cargo.
Okay. Yes, you're right. That's correct. Okay, you do the first one. No, no, I got that confused. Okay, so yeah, the gross vehicle weight, and I will say that again, is the maximum loaded weight of a vehicle. So that's gas and people in the car and everything like that, and anything you may have in the bed of the truck.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next thing is,
So we'll talk about that. Yes, that is correct. There is also a rating for the payload.
Yes.
But anyway.
Is the gross combined weight rating. This is the maximum towing weight of a vehicle. This, I think I can go back to my first statement, combines everything.
Yes.
Okay. This combines the trailer, what's on the trailer, what's in the truck, people in the truck, fluids, all of that.
Yep.
Okay.
Then there is gross axle weight rating. That is the maximum weight on the axles with a loaded trailer, passengers, fuel, luggage, everything. You don't see that one too much, but you will see it when you exceed it incorrectly, and you have that truck pointing at the sky and the tow hitch about pointing at the ground.
Which can cause those tow hitches to come off. You don't realize what a small piece of metal that comes in there to lock that ball in there. It's not much. It really isn't. I mean,
it's strong, but when you overload a trailer too heavy, especially to the front, this is where gross axle weight ratings come in.
Yeah.
Like I said, rarely represented. After that, you have gross trailer weight, and that is the trailer and its cargo. Simple as that.
You have this is one I did not know, is tongue weight. So basically, this is, when you think of the trailer tongue, that is where the trailer connects to the ball and hitch on the back of the total, and that is the total weight on the coupling point. And this is calculated, if I'm not mistaken, it's 10% of the weight of the trailer, or the trailer and what's on it.
It is the trailer and what's on it.
So if I have 1,000 pounds with trailer and everything, then there's 100 pounds of
tongue weight.
Almost
every time. It can be up to 15% if you have. Depends on the angle of how it's attached and where the axles are, but it's basically almost always like 9-10%. Like 99% of the time, it's about 10%.
Yeah.
And you have your curb weight, which is your vehicle by itself with nothing in it, and I mean no cargo.
No fluids too, right?
No. That is the dry
empty.
weight.
Okay, that's dry weight. Okay,
Curb weight is when people ask you how much does your car weigh. Almost everybody, what they mean is the curb weight.
Yeah.
If you drove it up here and got out of it and you had no stuff in it, this is a curb weight is basically the most important thing you want to think of on like a track day. That's the curb weight. You pull everything out of your car except for the essentials. That's your curb weight. The dry weight is minus fuel. I think it's also minus fluids in general in some cases.
I thought it was fluids in general.
I think it's fluids, yeah. So dry weight is just the vehicle with no fluid. And then, all right, so.
And then we have dry weight, which you said, okay.
Those are the weights. All right. The next thing we're going to talk about is balls, Nick. Balls and shafts.
I told you not to talk about that. Okay.
Hitches, not shafts.
Yeah, but you want to talk about shafts. William Schaffner.
That's right.
Okay. Boldly go.
All right. So trailer hitches come in basically 5 classes.
Okay.
So your standard class 1, your little subcompact car, which you want to put like a bike rack is a popular thing to do that, or even a really tiny trailer for towing a spare set of wheels to the track. I've seen that before on sports cars. If you're ever wondering why you might see a sports car with a trailer hitch, no, they're not making many runs to the dump with their Harbor Freight trailer. They're probably taking their spare tires to the track and a compressor and a little tiny bit of gear.
I love the idea of that, and we've seen that a lot. But I always wondered, it's like, even though it's you're adding weight to the car.
Right. Yeah.
So you'd almost have to take the trailer hitch off when you get to, like, the whole hitch off the car. So if you're going to take it to the track and race it. Because that's extra strong weight on hanging off the back of the car. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks cool, though.
Exactly. Okay, fair.
All right. Well, your standard class 1 and class 2 both share the same receiver size, and that's 1.25 inches. Class 1 is 1 to 2,000 pounds, and class 2 is 2 to 3,500 pounds. Tongue weights between 100 and 525 pounds. But subcompact cars, compact cars, like your Prius, you want to go with your little Harbor Freight trailer. I don't know. I've seen that before many times. For some reason, Prius has come to mind because I see it on them a lot. But if you have a really tiny car and you still need something to tow, you can still use a small car with a small trailer for your Home Depot run, for your washer and dryer, or to get a lawnmower. Like, those are perfect things, or a small motorcycle even for a tiny hitch like that.
You just got to think about the fact that there's going to be consequences if you put too much weight in a car like that. You're going to have transmission issues. You're going to have axle issues.
Yeah, you got to be real careful with your weight on a very small car.
And braking issues, too.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's never really a good idea to put a heavy load on a small car ever.
I hit the brakes and we just kept going. Yeah,
exactly.
That makes sense.
So,
yeah. Bringing all that, bringing the gym home. Yeah.
Yeah. But that said, it's like I said, great place to have a bike rack in the back of your car. That's the most popular, and that's by far the best way to transport bicycles, in my opinion.
Can I put my bike in your trunk?
The next two, class 3 and class 4, that's 3,500 to 12,000 pounds trailer weights, and those are both with 2-inch receiver sizes. So you're going to find those on small trucks, light trucks, even a lot of early half tons are going to have class 3s. Most are going to be class 4 now. Almost everything's going to be class 4 until actually take that back. Most of the new half-ton trucks are going all the way to class 5 now, which is pretty impressive.
But you can get a step-down ball. Like you can get a class 4 hitch and a class 4 insert, but the ball is a class 1 if you wanted to tow something light, I'm assuming.
Oh, yeah, you could swap the ball out like I do with my Harbor Freight trailer.
They spin or whatever, right? Like
correct. I think my Raptor, I don't know if it has a 4 or a 5 on it. I think it's a 4 hitch.
Okay.
Which has a much lighter tow rating than the F-150, the standard F-150 because of the suspension.
Yeah.
But, yeah, anyway, the next one, of course, class 5. That's 10,000 all the way to 25,000 pounds. And trailer tongue weight of 1,000 pounds all the way to 4,000 pounds. And that'll come in 2-inch ball, 2.5-inch, or even 3-inch ball. So the main thing to remember with those is, like, if you're looking at a truck like an F-150, and you're like, I got a 13,000 pound tow rating on my V6 F-150, which is pretty amazing. Got to give them some credit there for making a turbo that'll pull that much. That said, you got to be really careful where you place your weight. You've got smaller brakes, which is probably my biggest concern. You don't want to exceed the tongue weight. Even though those, like a standard half-ton size truck is the same size as like a 1-ton truck back was 20 years ago, still just be real careful with the smaller trucks. There's a big reason dualies have such high tow ratings, and typically
bigger brakes.
Yeah, bigger brakes, and two-wheel drive will almost always tow more than four-wheel drive.
But you're going to want rear-wheel drive, two-wheel drive, correct?
Yeah. So like a front-wheel drive vehicle,
especially when you're towing, because you'll have more of the weight over the rear of the car.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any front-wheel drive vehicle that's on a frame, unibody. I can't think of any front-wheel drives that are current production vehicles. There's a lot of older ones when front-wheel drive came out. I'm just trying to think if there's anything front-wheel drive that has a full frame anymore.
No, because most front-wheel drive... Well, what about the...
unibody.
The Ridgeline.
That's unibody.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because everything front wheel drive, I think, is sports cars, or not sports cars, but
commuter cars,
commuter sports. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Huh. Anyway, we'll have to look into that.
Okay. Interesting.
Listeners, if you know of a front wheel drive car on a frame that's still being produced, I'd love to know. Even if it's not in the U.S., I wonder if there's something out there. There's got to be a market somewhere for that. Anyway.
I would think there would be more. It would be on a subframe, and then there would be, like, the front would be on a frame. I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah. Most crossover SUVs are 1, 2, or 3. Like I said, almost anything unibody is going to be a 3 and lower. And it's pretty impressive to see even a unibody vehicle with a Class 3. There's a few of them out there. I think 7-row passenger. I think it's the Highlander. Maybe it's Toyota Highlander. I think there's a few out there that have Class 3, though. They can actually tow quite a bit with a unibody. Cars are getting pretty strong these days.
You want them to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, there's like I say, I think most of the time when you're going to see, like, I was talking about putting the hitch on the new I almost said Crosstrek, on the new Wilderness, but it's only going to, and I wanted to do it literally because I wanted to put, Rain City has a motorcycle rack.
Yeah.
I don't know
Carolina squat
how well that would work. Like, when I put, like, I mean, I think the monkeys would work, but that was squatting in your truck.
Yeah, even the Raptor.
Two monkeys on there was squatting, yeah.
Yeah, so I used a double motorcycle carrier.
Yeah.
It's monkeys. This is not like big bikes.
200 and some pounds. No, not even 200 pounds.
Yeah, I think they're 200 pounds.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
I've picked them up.
All steel.
Oh, I know they're all steel. I'm not saying they're not heavy. I'm just, okay, yeah.
Huh. Yeah, they're about 200 pounds, so it's about 400 pounds on the hitch.
Well, then I'm stronger than I thought.
pretty far on
not
the
on the hitch, but it was, like, leveraged out there, too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. You want to pull a trailer when you're doing something like that. If I had a bigger truck or like a dually or something, it wouldn't squat the rear at all with the monkeys. But those dual motorcycle hitches, even though they'll fit and they aren't exceeding the tongue weight, it just puts it so far back. Yeah. It probably does. When you calculate leverage, if I did, actual math, it would probably exceed the tongue weight if I'm thinking about it. Anyway.
We do hypothetical math here at Rain City Supercars.
All the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the next thing we'll talk about is wiring. Luckily for us, there's pretty much only 2 left.
Yeah.
There used to be a bunch of messy trailer wiring situations. Now there's just 4-pin and 7-pin. And you typically have a 7-pin. That's the round one, by the way. 7-pin is the round one. Most vehicles have both. If you have a tow package, almost everything with a tow package has both, or it comes with the 7 to 4-pin adapter.
And most of them will be wired if it's not there.
They have the wiring right there. If you have the wiring back there and you don't have a receiver receptacle, you probably have the 4-pin right behind it, tucked away.
I had a buddy of mine back in high school and stuff like that. He worked at U-Haul, and they went through that. They had these really cool racks. They'd back them up. The back of the car would come up, and he would zip through putting those. I mean, and they had universal wiring harnesses like they did with stereos and stuff. They would put so many of those things on cars every day. He made so much money doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But 4-pin flat connector is basically you have lights. Or in surge brakes. So a lot of boat trailers, even though they might be big, even like 20-foot boats, might only have a 4-pin connector because all they're operating is lights. We'll talk about brakes after this, but if you have electronic trailer brakes, you have a 7-pin connector. If your truck is pre-wired and you see a round connector in the back of your truck, chances are you have a trailer brake controller under your dash somewhere, and you're like, what are these little slider things for? Those are your
and trust me, I mean, you need to check your trailer wiring. I mean, when Dan and I built the Harbor Freight trailer, it was. One light worked.
Yeah. Well, what's great about that is my truck told me.
Did it really?
Yeah, my truck had a warning on the dash that said,
"Dear dumbass, you put your trailer together wrong."
Pretty much. Well, luckily I had a wiring kit with me. It was just the connectors were loose.
We had a negative. There was a negative. It was okay. Just so we're clear, we aren't stupid, and the Harbor Freight instructions sucked.
They do.
They literally they did one of those exploded things where they showed the trailer and then exploded it. You can't tell what parts were where. So, But
it was cool that the truck told me those, like trailer brake wiring or trailer brake light malfunction. It didn't tell me which one.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that. The next thing, brakes. So there's 2 kinds of brakes basically on trailers.
And this is where you're going to know more than me because I noticed that you're obviously the Raptor has in it, but I always assumed that most trailers didn't have brakes, or like we were talking about earlier. Well, you and I were about boats and the fact that they have the basically a compression that as the weight shifts on the trailer, it pushes the brakes. But there's actually you can lock up your trailer brakes if you've got too much of them on.
Yeah,
correct.
So you have those are called hydraulic surge brakes. And you're going to find those especially on boat trailers because they go underwater all the time, and therefore there's no electronics to maintain. I mean, just the lights. The lights are pretty easy to seal up, but trailer brake wirings. And you'll still see it on big trailers and higher quality trailers, but your standard boat trailer typically has, I would say, 18-foot plus boat, newer boat, that's not like a Bayline or something, but like a surf boat. Even a small surf boat's going to have typically surge brakes on it.
Just got to be, I was going to say, because
they weigh a lot.
And they all go underwater. Like there's that. Yeah, okay.
It's just super easy to maintain. And the way they work is there's a compression in the hitch, and as you slow down, that weight naturally moves forward and presses on the hitch, and therefore it activates the surge brakes.
Okay.
Now, if you're too heavy on your brakes, you're going to lock up your trailer brakes. Happens all the time. And so you want to be smooth. Being really smooth with a trailer, especially with surge brakes, is really important. It's kind of jarring. I've done it many times because I towed a boat for years, and the first time you lock up with trailer brakes, it kind of freaks you out. But you have to emergency stop sometimes. It's just the way it is. Even with the trailer, somebody it's going to pull out in front of you, even though they see your giant truck and a massive boat trailer, they'll be like, "I'll go out in front of this guy." Good idea.
He'll stop. It's fine.
It'll lock up the rear brakes pretty easy.
He's got a headache rack. It'll stop the boat from coming off the trailer. No.
Yes. Also, rental trailers. Almost all rental trailers have surge brakes on them because there's virtually no maintenance on them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you're wondering, that's how they do that. So, and then they don't have to worry about having vehicles with trailer brake controllers. And if you have a trailer brake controller, we're going to talk about that right now, you have to set it up.
Yeah.
You don't just you can just plug it in and run it. Like, it's better than nothing. It'll still work, but it'll work 100 times better if you go through the steps.
Well, I would assume that if you plug it in and run it, it's going to be on the lowest setting, like usually 1 through 5. So if anything, they're not going to be working at all. But if you plug them in and put it on 5, you could be locking those things up and not knowing it, dragging the trailer down the road.
Right. Exactly.
So,
yeah. So basically, if you have the 7-pin round and you have a brake controller in the dash, you'll see those little 2 sliding switches on there that move around on there. And then you have some adjustments on there that you'll see that work on your dash. And typically you can't access those until a trailer is plugged in that has an electronic trailer controller and it recognizes it.
Which is good because half the time those trailer brakes are like right by your knee and you could accidentally hit them. So,
yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So how you set that up, I'm going to actually go through how you set this up, and it's pretty simple now.
Did you go through all of this when you took the Harbor Freight to
Oh, totally.
to McCall? Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Harbor Freight trailer definitely does not have brakes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, you plug in your trailer, you find an empty stretch of road, and you set the gain on the controller. It'll come up on the dash, and it'll recognize the trailer's plugged in. You want to start as about 5 as the baseline. That's the typical starting point. Okay. And then you go to about 20 miles an hour, and you slowly start to squeeze the brakes, squeeze the manual controller brakes. You can manually control the brakes on an electronic brake controller. So not the brakes in your truck, but the brakes on the dash. If the trailer brake doesn't lock up, then you want to start increasing the gain by about 1 every time. So go 5, 6, 7.
Oh, you want to go? I thought you wanted to go up in half increments.
It depends who you ask.
Okay.
Yeah, I've done it in 1, but I mean it's not going to be a dramatic difference.
Okay.
But once you do lock up, and you do want them to lock up, you want to look out the back window. It's much easier with a passenger.
And this is with the load on the trailer because
no,
it isn't.
This is with an empty load on the trailer.
I thought you wanted to do it with the load. Okay. I'm confused.
No, this is the first time you set it up.
Oh, the first time you set it, but okay.
Yeah, this is the very first time you set it up.
Okay, I'm confused.
Because that's your baseline is the trailer with nothing on it in the truck.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
And then you just start increasing it by 0.5 or decrease. You go to you lock it up and then decrease it by 0.5.
I'm confusing you with my questions more than you're on top of it. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you just like I said. So I think when I did it with I have done it once with my Raptor. I think I set it to like 8 on the trailer I had, and then I just decreased it to like 6.5, and then it was fine. And then as I added load to it, it actually didn't have to adjust because I wasn't carrying that much of a heavy load. The thing is, you don't want to lock up your brakes on a trailer with a heavy load on the back. It can be a little jarring on the truck.
And you will, with the weight, you'll flatten some tires too.
Yeah, if you have a ton of weight on it.
Yeah.
All right, so that's how you set up your brake controller. I would highly recommend you watch a video on it from your manufacturer if you have a built-in one. There will be many different ways to set up brake controllers, but Ford has a video on it, Chevy does, Dodge does, and they're not really any different. I haven't found any major differences, but there might be a little trick on how to get through it on your dash.
Dodge has got some great videos. In fact, we just kind of watched one before this. It was really, it was good.
Oh, there was a Dodge, yeah. So does Toyota, actually.
Yeah.
And they have, I think even some of them have different presets. If you tow a bunch of different trailers, like if you've got cargo trailers for your company, or you have your boat, and then you have your cargo trailer, like for a car, you can set presets. You can have like trailer 1, trailer 2, and it can be set up with weight. Kind of cool.
Oh, you bougie. You got more than one trailer, geez.
Yeah, exactly. The Ford one's insane.
Is it really?
Yeah, it's a...
Like the video or the actual trailer brake system?
No, the whole trailer system on there is amazing.
Okay.
You have these... It comes with these stickers you put on the side of your trailer, and then you line it up with your camera, and you set the distance on it, and it will literally create an image behind the trailer.
That's cool.
Using the cameras on the underneath the mirrors.
It will figure out what's behind you. It
Yeah,
basically zooms in, so kind of thing.
Yeah, it basically gives you a view on your dash of what is potentially behind the trailer. Not 100%, but like it's amazing to watch. Anyway, if it had a high-res screen, it would look better forward. Anyway.
What's up with that? Like, the screens are incredible. Like,
screens are garbage.
I'm going to start on. Okay, go ahead.
Anyway, should we talk about the next one?
Okay, so the next thing you need to do is to make sure that you secure your trailer. You can never check these enough, and I think that's what one thing they emphasize enough in the fact that so you're going to basically you're going to back the truck up or car up to the ball. You're going to lower the vehicle. You're going to lower the trailer onto the ball. That's the first thing you should do is you should lock that ball on there
before you load your trailer.
Before you load your trailer, before you a lot of these trailers have is it not telescoping, but the legs go. The holding leg
the trailer
spins.
Jack.
Yeah, it spins. Some of them, you crank them all the way up. Some of them, they actually spin to be horizontal. Okay, make sure it's when it's empty because if you, so many times, and I've seen people do this where they think the trailer's on the truck and then it's empty and they drive something onto the trailer and then the trailer comes off the truck and then it goes into the back of the truck.
Yep.
So this is a big thing. But, these are your main things. You're going to want to make sure it's locked on there. You're going to make sure the leg is up. You're going to want to make sure your safety chains are on and you're going to want to make sure that your trailer brakes and or electrical wiring are plugged in. Okay, check it 40 times because it's not going to hurt. Then load the trailer and check everything. I know a lot of people aren't going to get this, but if you've ever been horseback riding and you put a saddle on a horse and it's tight, and then you walk away and you come back, it will be loose because that horse will bloat because it doesn't like tight. You need to check all of your straps on your trailer multiple times. And that includes after you leave, before you leave, after you leave, mid-trip, everything. This is the most important thing because loads will shift, bands will stretch.
Yep.
Especially if you're using Harbor Freight straps, they stretch like you wouldn't believe. But it's important to really, really do a full walk around of the truck. And part of that walk around is you need to be looking at the lights on the trailer. Make sure the lights on the trailer work.
Turn on your flashers.
Turn on your flashers. Make sure you got air in your tires. You don't have any issues. A lot of times people have these old trailers and they're rotted through, Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, rotted trailer tires are a big thing because people don't use their trailers year round. They just sit. Like my Harbor Freight trailer has been sitting since October. I will use it relatively soon to do another dump run as I start doing some demo in the shop, but I need to redo the bearings. I already know that because it's Harbor Freight and they lasted, I put 7,000 miles on it.
I was going to say, that was pretty good.
And they're $20, so, big deal. But
they will be the biggest pain in the ass to repack and get them out of there.
I bought a whole hub.
Oh, nice. Okay,
it was
never
like
mind.
$25 for the bearings, like $30 for a hub.
$7 for the hub. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, forget it. I'll just put a whole new hub on there with bearings in it. But yeah, let's talk about loading the trailer because this is where I see people mess up the most, even on light trailers. People really neglect it on light trailers, but speaking from experience and somebody who was lazy and didn't load his Harbor Freight trailer correctly, this makes a huge difference.
I don't know.
Huge difference.
Yeah, okay.
So you basically want a 60-40 split. 60% of the weight over the axle and 40% behind it, which means you want to get it as close to starting from the center axle moving out. So if you have a lawnmower, you want to get it just a little in front of the axle, and that's it. Like you don't want it in the very back of the trailer because it's easier to unload. You don't want it all the way in the front of the trailer unless you're packing more weight to offset it behind it. You want it in the middle of the trailer. And especially on really tiny trailers, everybody thinks big trailers and heavy weights. Well, obviously this makes a huge difference. But on little tiny trailers, if you have the weight all the way at the front or all the way at the back, those leaf springs, which are really crappy, are just going to bounce that trailer all over the road behind you. All over. You're gonna
turns it into a bunny real quick, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're going down I-90, for example, which is one of the most demolished highways in the country at this point, literally between Issaquah and Snoqualmie, like there's rebar exposed at this point, you can bounce a trailer out of a lane.
Yeah, okay.
Literally, a really tiny trailer like that a heavy trailer is not going to move that much. A really tiny trailer is literally going to bounce out of a lane. It's nuts. If you're like changing lanes as you're going.
And there's not much of an angle there for when it bounces because it's going to be hitting the back of the truck. And yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So like when I have the monkeys in the trailer, I have them, they'll fit side by side, but I load them offset. I have one all the way to the left in the middle and one to the right in the middle. And that is so they're all, as much weight as I can is over that center axle. And at first when I did it, I had them up front. And then I noticed that trailer bouncing behind me. And so I had it off. I moved
a couple of monkeys bouncing behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And so I moved the fuel to the back and offset the weight. But when I got to McCall, I actually repositioned the tie-down points in the trailer to make the weight more even. Okay. So, yeah.
I have seen people talk about it's hard to get all the weight over the axles, especially if your axles are farther back and you got a longer trailer. And there are those trailers. Trailers are supposed to be built where the axles are in the middle, but a lot of times they're not, and you've got to. It's tough to balance the weight, but
specialty trailers for specialty equipment. If you have a trailer that's designed for a certain piece of equipment, like a backhoe, and you can tow a backhoe, plenty of vehicles can, you will find that that trailer may not work very well for other things because it's designed specifically for a backhoe where the weight is a certain position on the trailer, and it's meant to be loaded a certain way.
Okay.
So think about it that way, like, oh, I can just use my backhoe trailer for your car. Well, you're going to have to park that car farther back on the trailer for it to just be loaded correctly.
I hate to say it, but trial by error. I mean, learning how to do this, you will. I mean, the first time you load a trailer, or you put something on a trailer, drive it around your neighborhood, or load it up. Go out to an empty neighborhood and see how the truck performs. You're going to know real quick, because sometimes it's hard. You look at you put a car on a trailer and you go, okay, but where's the weight? Because the engine's in the front of the car, but it's the back. So it's tough. But
yeah.
We've all screwed it up.
As long as you get it pretty close, even if you're a little off, you're going to be okay. That's the main thing. But it's just really good things to consider when loading a trailer. If nobody told you, you probably didn't know. And that's not uncommon. Not a lot of people tow trailers until they're in their probably 30s or 40s sometimes, if ever.
And that's not like a part of the driving test.
No.
They don't teach you that stuff. And somebody at the dealership will gladly sell you a giant Dodge Dually and be like, sure, go ahead and tow whatever you want.
Yeah, you got to learn somehow, and hopefully it's not when your trailer's flipped over on the side of the road.
I'll tell you, that's something too. And you got to watch for that. And I will say this where this is getting a little out of it, but if you're towing a big toy hauler, things like that, you're going through the gorge, winds are an issue.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, weather can be an issue. I just want to say that. I've seen it many a times. Happens to 18-wheelers, and they know what they're doing, but it's tough. So
yeah, well, I mean, wind becomes even more of an issue when your trailer is not loaded correctly, because then it starts to whip in the wind. And if your trailer is loaded correctly, it'll reposition itself. But if it's not,
I'm not singing "Whip My Hair Back and Forth." No, sorry. Dan's looking at me all seriously, and I'm over here.
Yeah. Okay. That object in motion tends to stay in motion. Yeah. And then
until it flips over and tries to kill Grandma in the Prius next to you.
Yeah. You mentioned one more thing about checking the trailer. Typically, I do two things. Like, I usually have the trailer all loaded up and good to go, and then I drive to the highway and stop and check it again. Yeah. Because there has been a few times that, I have had things come loose that I just thought were secure. I check my straps, check my lights. And
ratchet straps come loose. Always find a safe place to pull over off of the freeway, get out of the way. But it's important to check those things. Like I said, many a times I've had loads and I'm like, that thing is so strapped down, and you get 30 miles away and you come out and it's like flapping in the wind. So
I usually find it to be when I'm towing not vehicles like cars, but motorcycles, side-by-side, snowmobiles, things like that have really active suspension. Yeah, they bounce because they move with the suspension moves with the road, not just on the trailer but also on the motorcycle. That motion is transferred from the trailer to the motorcycle, and then as they come up and down, those straps get loose and tight and loose and tight.
If you're loading a bike or something, have somebody on the bike and pushing down on the front, because that way you will try to take a bunch of that travel out of those motorcycles, quads, things like that. Like Dan said, if the bike is just sitting there and you ratchet it down, there's still play in that suspension. And the first time you hit the brakes, even in the truck, that bike's going to go forward, that strap's going to loosen.
Yeah, and for short distances, that's fine. Yeah. For long distances, like say you're moving across the country or you're going a few thousand miles, you actually don't want to do that. It'll blow the fork seals.
But I'm saying, could you lock it, strap it down, then undo the locks? That way it wouldn't.
Oh, yeah. If you have a whole shot device, sure.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I'm talking, it's really hard to do on suspension. I've seen people do it, like, where they put a car on a trailer and they'll have people, like, stand on the front bumper, which will
I've seen that too.
Crush the suspension? That's not what I want. That's not the word I want.
Compress the suspension.
Thank you. Yeah. I knew it was a C word, so, yeah.
Yeah, I typically use a ratchet strap on a motorcycle if I'm going a really long distance. Like I said, if you put all that pressure down on the forks and you go a really long distance, you can blow your fork seals. And you typically want to tie it down. There's special tie downs for long distance. You can look it up at any motorcycle dealer. Will tell you how. You can get a fork. If you have a motocross bike, you can get a fork brace. It's literally a piece of plastic that fits between the front tire, the top of the fender, and it kind of wraps to the forks.
No, I know exactly what it is. I'm wondering if that's how my monkey got that shock got blown.
I don't think so.
No, because it was like that from when we left.
Yeah, but I took mine all the way to McAllen back.
But I'm just wondering if me or you, when we put my bike on there from here and drove it up to the middle of the state, if we ratcheted it down too far.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Okay, I
don't know.
I'm not. Maybe. I'm taking responsibility. I was just saying. I wonder if that's what happened. So
yeah. No,
I don't know. I break all the time. So yes,
that's half the phone.
Yeah. we live in a world of knowledge is very accessible. I mean, YouTube obviously is huge.
Oh, yeah.
Owner's manuals, anything digital you can get from your dealership. If you need to, I mean, a lot of these dealerships, when you buy a car, drive back in and say, hey, can you teach me about this? Because, when you're buying a new car, and I will say this just because I went through this, they don't have time to show you everything, especially when you're excited to get the hell out of the dealership. So go back. They'll talk to you. It's their job.
Yeah, your best source is honestly the trailer, wherever you bought your trailer. If you bought it from a local retailer.
But I'm talking when you were talking about like the trailer brakes.
Oh,
and things
you need to set up your trailer brakes. Yeah. Anybody in service should be able to help you out with that.
Yeah.
If you have the trailer. It's really not that difficult, though. Like I said, the manufacturers have done an exceedingly better job of making those really easy to understand.
Yeah.
Watching it on my truck, I was like, man, I wish I had a trailer brake so I could set this up. It's pretty cool. Because it has I have that trailer brake controller that will let you, like, you literally just turn it on the dash to turn the truck. It automatically reverses and parks. It's nuts. Yeah, a lot of trucks have automatic reverse systems now.
Okay.
You put it in trailer mode, and then it'll literally turn the steering wheel for you. Because you get backwards as you turn the trailer.
I'm going to say this. I've told this to Dan before. The nannies may be getting too good. I mean, my new Subaru, I left here this morning, and I put on the cruise control and the steering and all that. Now I'm steering, but I did not hit my brakes. Like, I didn't touch my brakes until I was getting off the freeway. Like, I've got from my house down to the freeway, on the freeway, and off the freeway coming into Bellevue. That's the first time I touched my brakes. It drives for me. I love that car. But yeah.
It's funny because I have the same system on the Raptor, and it works terribly because the suspension is so soft.
Oh.
And so when it tries to correct, it's like in the other lane almost, then it has to correct back. And it'll do it, but it's not smooth at all. They actually revoked that's a good topic, actually. Yeah. They actually took the option out of the new Raptor. They had it listed.
To lane center?
Yeah, the lane assist doesn't work in the new Raptor. It didn't work in the old one. It's terrible.
I feel like when my car centers itself in the lane, I don't feel like it's center.
Yeah.
Like, I'm always like adjusting a little bit, but I mean, obviously, the electronic eyes that are watching know better than I do. So, yeah.
Yeah. So if you got a new Raptor and you have that option, they're offering you a refund if you opted for that.
They're just going to turn it off, or what are they doing?
I think it's just turned off, and you get a refund for it.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, they'll give you a full refund for that option.
Interesting. It's funny, and this is a subtopic. I've obviously gotten really deep into the forums with the wilderness and stuff like that, but I'm noticing this is something. A gentleman was at the dealership, and he got, not a dealership here, and he ordered the extra alarm, and basically the alarm was already built into the car.
Yeah.
But they just had to turn it on. That was like these cars, all these cars are coming with these options. You have to pay to play. Yeah. That is so weird to me. Like, it used to be like, oh, do you want the alarm in your BMW? We have to put it in your car. But now it's all in there. So
that's funny.
That's weird to me. Yeah.
Anything else on towing you thought of? Oh, yeah. I did think so.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. I was like, wait, no.
You're asking and answering the question.
Yeah, sorry. I said it, and I was like, oh, yeah. It is illegal to tow a trailer. It is illegal to tow a trailer you can't see around. So if you don't have trailer mirrors on a vehicle and you're towing a trailer, you can get a ticket for that. Typically, you won't get it unless you get pulled over anyway. But it's also illegal to travel in the fast lane on most 3-lane highways here with a trailer. You can still pass.
In the middle lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you can't.
I don't know why I always think it's a Dodge, but I associate with Dodge with those trailer mirrors that just like when they click and they fold out. I think that's so cool.
Yeah.
It's just
they just rotate.
Cool, it's just such a cool some engineer was sitting there being like, if we just put a pivot point here, 2 types of mirrors.
Yeah.
So
it just flips out. It's really easy.
Until you try to go through something and it's too wide. But yeah.
Right. Yeah. So if you have a really long trailer though, or you are
know your trailer heights, know your trailer widths, know your trailer lengths.
Swing wide.
And know that when you're coming out, if you have a longer trailer and you're coming out of simple driveways, you could be dragging. So,
yeah. Boat trailers do it all the time because they have the prop protector.
Oh, yeah.
Wakeboard or ski
Which
boat.
is good because you'd rather hit that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And some of them have like really nice, really, really tough wheels on them, so they kind of lift the trailer up and let it glide. And some just go. It's the worst sound in the world.
Yeah, go to any boat dock and you'll see what
the dragging
those prop detectors will do. So, if you have questions, don't call us. Jeez, go to the internet. We're gonna post a couple of really good articles, a couple of really good photos that kind of describe some of this stuff. We've always encouraged you go out and get to know your car. Like, there is so much information that you don't realize that when you open your front door, the passenger, your driver door, on the door, everything from tire pressure. That's another thing. and we didn't really touch on it, is making sure that the tire pressure on your truck is up to speed, because you put more weight pulling off the back of that truck, it's going to push more pressure down. I mean, that's along the lines of the axles, but still.
Yeah, we said
That's part of your, but that should be part of your walk around is too. Not
trailer tires. I see failure more often, but yes, you're correct.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. I actually had to I was telling a friend about that who had low tire pressure.
You have other friends? Wait a minute, I'm not okay with
just
this.
like one.
Oh my God.
She had a flat tire. She's like, how low of pressure can I still drive on this? And she had like 7 psi.
No.
Yeah. And it's like, you can't drive on that low of pressure.
Yeah.
And just got a screw in the tire. She had AAA, so no big deal.
You can't even rock crawl on that. You probably. I mean, if you had locking.
You can drive a couple feet. I was like, no, you can't. You
don't
can't
do
drive
that.
with that
Don't
low. It's
do
like
that,
you'll
yeah.
ruin the tire. It's like you obviously probably have something in the tire. So call AAA, got it aired up, got a screw removed, but then bought an air compressor that I told her to buy. So I was like, get this, put it in the back of your car, even a dirt cheap air compressor.
Here's our list. Read it. Buy it. Have a nice
like,
day.
there you go. She's like, is it easy to use? I'm like, yep, plug it in, turn it on, turn it up.
Somebody asked me, like, all that stuff you guys talked about, like, are you guys like hooked up with those companies? I'm like, no, we said it like, this is just the crap we use.
Yeah. No, we have spent a lot of money on tools.
Yeah, I mean, we owe those people money. We're talking about them. So yeah.
Few of them, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that kind of wraps it up. I mean,
I think it wraps up the towing.
We've got what do we got coming up on the old Avance?
A lot of stuff right now. The women's stuff has taken off. I've been really happy with that. Good to see that. Nice to see it becoming normal. Thanks, Chrissy.
Yeah.
Next event coming up.
Thanks for making women normal, Chrissy. It's too easy. Sorry. Yeah.
She's going to smack you next time she sees you.
That's okay.
So is Michelle.
I've learned to
Probably
duck.
Linnea, too.
Michelle's too nice.
Yeah, it's true. She'll just glare at you.
Yeah, I know. But that gets to me 10 times more than being smacked. So yeah, okay.
I'm disappointed in you glare.
Oh God, I'm not
hurts.
mad. I'm disappointed. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
What do we have next? Charter member photo shoots, and then as the ladies stuff we're talking about, Avance, ladies Griot's Garage, private collection tour, and tech session, which you should definitely go to. Those guys are great.
We talked about that. You don't realize what is hidden. If you ever have a chance to get on a private collection tour with Griot's, be it with Avance or something through Griot's or any other thing, go do it. It's incredible.
Yeah,
it's an incredible facility.
And then after that, another tech section for everybody, Northwest Crafted Interiors. We've had those guys on the show. Mm-hmm. Amazing work. Definitely going to be worth checking out. You can see how much of an artist those guys really are. Avance Portland. Let's talk about Portland. Okay. Coffee with Keith Martin and friends. That's going to be cool.
Okay. I'm going to say it. So Dan and I have known Keith for a long time.
Yeah.
Through Concorso. And I love Keith. He's a great guy. But I have worked and driven in cars with Keith, and every time I meet him, it's a pleasure to meet you. I was like, Keith, we know each other. He's such a cool guy. He's so much good knowledge. And the sports car market's such a great thing. So you really should. I joke about it, but we've known him for long enough that if he remembered who I was, he'd think that was funny.
We joke to his face.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, God, yeah.
He's great.
I've told him that. We know each other.
Oh, yeah.
The man meets so many people. I don't blame him. But
and then he's like, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
then Avance Denver Tour, Farland Classic Restoration. So I need to get over there. I miss Colorado.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Monkey Run?
Yeah.
Wait, doesn't Idaho dump into Colorado? Does Idaho go to Colorado?
Idaho. No, it's Idaho, Utah, Wyoming.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, speaking of which, anybody in Wyoming, the BDR guys, Backcountry Discovery Routes, just completed the Wyoming BDR.
Oh,
so
wow.
That map is officially published.
Oh, cool.
It does not go through Jackson or Alpine. It's more toward the east side of the state.
No, thanks.
I know. I'm out too.
I'm down. I mean, we have people in Alpine and Jackson, so,
Yeah.
I think that's it. I'm sorry, Dan and I are scatterbrained tonight. I'm more than you. I'm all over the place because I'm trying to do 7 things at once. But listen, this month it's going to be great. There's a lot of cool stuff coming up.
Oh, I have one more thing. I keep thinking of one more thing.
Okay, good.
The F-Sharp film that I did with Driven Motion comes out tomorrow, so it will be Thursday. So you guys will see it.
We're not talking about that.
You guys will see that.
You kept that from me, all because you signed an NDA and followed the NDA. I'm like, what the hell? So it's going to be really cool. I'm really excited. Like I said, the little bits of snippets I've seen are really cool. And
I have not seen it.
Yeah.
I haven't seen the film at all.
Well, there's been I shouldn't say snippets. I should say photos. Like there's been photos.
Yeah.
That's
I've been reposting the stuff that the
Yeah.
guys at Driven Motion who did the film with John Zubrick. They've done others too, but John Zubrick was a guest on the show before, so you know him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I played the dad in that. I'm not an actor, so we'll see how it turned out because I have no clue. They said I did a good job. Hopefully Ferrari thinks so as well. So
that's really cool.
We'll have them on the show. We'll talk about that in a different episode. You guys will see it on Avance tomorrow. Like I said, this will be the day after that comes out. So I hope you guys if you haven't seen it, I'm sure if you're listening, you've probably seen me post it, or it'll be on our channel, on our Instagram. I'll cross-post it there. But yeah, anyway.
Cool. Okay, Dan, I'm going to give you an opportunity here. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about?
No.
You can add it in post.
I think I'm good.
Okay.
I think we're good.
All right, good. All right.
Oh, wait. No, just kidding.
You really had me. I was like, what? Okay. What else? What else? Okay. Cool. Well, then we'll wrap it up for this week's episode of Rain City Supercars. As always, I'm Nick.
I'm Dan, and don't just get there. Enjoy the drive.